And don't forget to watch us when you're on your computer or your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And today we're gearing you up for Global Running Day, which is actually next Wednesday, and the benefits of running and how to get up and get off your couch and get to moving. So joining us is Miss Benita Cribb. She is with Fleet Feet of Jackson, but also they have multiple locations, and she wants you to sweat your tushy off in the next couple of weeks.
Yes,
to get
I
out
do.
Because it's here, Benita. For anybody who's been outside the last weekend or got out and stretch your legs, the humidity heat is back. So it's perfect running weather, right?
It's good running weather, and it looks like next week's going to be great. A little bit cooler, and so we've got a good opportunity for some folks to get out there and enjoy some running and walking.
So, and we're adding in that walking. So it's all about just moving in a forward motion, right?
It is. So Wednesday, June the 5th, is Global Day of Running. Back in 2009, someone thought it was a good idea, and so they initially called it National Day of Running.
I remember that, so they've changed it.
They've changed the name a little bit, but it remains the same. It's just the joy of running and walking, and we'll be having a big race over in the township. We'll be starting behind Soulshine and running through the township, and it's a 5K. And we have a group that's been over at Fleet Feet in Ridgeland and Fleet Feet in Flowood, and they've been training. They've been training for this is their 10th week, and then they'll run next Wednesday or they'll walk next Wednesday. So we're super excited.
When you think about training for something like that, even if it's walking, Benita, why is it important not to just get off your couch one morning and go, you know what, I'm just going to go for a 5K, or can you do that?
I wouldn't recommend that. I've done this program for probably 12, 15 years, and what I found is that if you take it slow and progressive and build on each week, then little by little by little, a 5K is much easier to do over time than just to go out and do it. And there's a great potential for hurting yourself if you just decide, I'm going to go out and do a 5K.
Or be miserable and then never want to do it again.
Right. And I think what's really great about the programs at Fleet Feet is not only is it teaching you the how to do it and do it appropriately, but you get clinics, and I think you did a bunch of clinics for us at one time.
Back in the day.
But you also just get to meet new people and build community. And I think that's what we like to promote at Fleet Feet. It is about good health, and we really want to do that, but it's about building friendships and really learning other folks and learning how to do it and do it right. So, yeah, it is a lot of fun. We've been over at Fleet Feet in Ridgeland. We started back in March, and then we've been sharing some space with the YMCA over in Flowood, and so we've been coming out of there, and so it's just been a lot of fun. And then we bring those groups together and do group meetings and group clinics, and so we have had a ball this time.
So for the folks listening, Benita, and even if they're not in a position where they could join one of the groups or not, but they're thinking, man, I've always wanted to do a 5K, or I never thought I could do one, and right now they're thinking, man, I get winded when I get up and walk to the mailbox or, whatever it may be. That could never be me. Talk about how that the stacking of the habits, or the incremental sort of, you really can go from a couch to whatever it is that you want to sort of do with the appropriate strategy.
You can. And I think what's really great too is that we've had youngsters and we've had people that are middle-aged. We have people that are in their 70s and 80s do it. Anybody can do it. It's about knowing how to properly do it, and it's not rushing out of the gate. Everything is done in moderation, and it's just done over time, and you build. And it's not just about running or walking either. We also coach you on doing some cross-training, doing things outside of running and walking, swimming, biking, yoga, Pilates. And especially as you age, you really need some of those things to help with balance. And there's a lot of aspects of it rather than just, I'm going to go out there and run, or I'm just going to go out there and walk. And there's a science behind it. I mean, it's not just, you can do it, anybody could do it, but to do it and do it safely, you need some folks to help you. And so over at Fleet Feet, both sides, we have coaches. Myself and Jason Corley have coached it for more than a dozen years. And then we have pacers, and they're groups of people that go out, and they're with you the entire time. They're, talking to you about technique. They're talking to you about posture. They're talking to you about cadence, all the things that help you to make it from the couch To the 5K.
5K.
That's right.
Which we're saying 5K, but that is how many miles, Benita?
3.1.
Why they do that? Why is it like that? Why don't they call it I don't know. I guess the 5K is the even number, and so it just rolls out to be 3.1, where in my mind I'm like, oh, I just need to round it up 3.5 or 3, but then it would mess up the 5 part, and then so you know all the things. So at least it's 5K, and that's very standard. Over the next couple of months, you're going to have, and even into the fall, I mean, across Mississippi, there are so many opportunities to get into 5Ks and things around that support a lot of local charities or organizations. And so this idea that you could do something good for your health, but also have the community and build back in, I think is why Mississippi has such a strong running community. Because even though Fleet Feet's here in the metro, it doesn't matter what town you go into. There's a running store, there's a running group, there's something. What is it about running, do you think, Benita, that just brings so many people together?
There are charitable organizations a lot of times will do 5Ks, and that really sparks people's interest. I'll tell you what's really interesting, too, is to watch people who progress and start at a 5K, and we have repeat folks that come back time after time after time after time and just continue to do it because it becomes a good habit for them. But we also see people who start in our program who do a 5K and then they do the 8K Turkey Day and then they build upon that and do a 10K and a 15K, and it turns into you can't help yourself. And you know, everybody talks about that feeling that you get when you cross the finish line and that adrenaline that happens, and it really is amazing. And for me personally, to watch somebody go from a couch to a 5K, it's very emotional for me. Every time people come across the finish line, I know how hard it is. I've been there, I've done it, and I've done all the distances. And so I just know it's a hard thing to do. But if you set your mind to it, and a lot of times it's really just mind over matter, right? And to see people that are like-minded who are trying to achieve the same thing as you, it's amazing. It's an unbelievable community.
Ms. Benita, what's your running story? How did you get into it?
Well, that's a great question. I had always been kind of a workout junkie, and I loved it, but my dad had passed away, and my 2 brothers were super athletes. My dad was a super athlete, and I was just kind of mediocre. And so after he passed away, I'm like, I really need to do something else. I need to switch it up. I really would like to do something that would really make him proud of me. And so I started in this exact program, the Couch to 5K. The 5K Finish is what we call it today. I started there with a group of friends from work. And I finished that program, and I ran 5Ks all through the summer. And so I said to myself, well, if I can run a 5K, well, surely I could do an 8K. And so I did. And then it just began to transition from that to other distances. And I really started to just challenge myself. I'm like, well, if I can do these things, your body's built to do these things. You can do these things. And so I did. And so I've run multiple marathons. Half marathons is my sweet spot. I can go run a half marathon, and then I can go do something else if I want to. If I go run a marathon, I probably need to go home.
I need a nap.
I need a nap.
That's what Ms. Benita said. I need a nap. And that is way far in advance. This is just about encouraging people to get out and get moving. And coming up next Wednesday is Global Running Day. I'm sure there will be events all over the state that are looking for opportunities or giving you opportunities to get out and get moving. If we want to sign up for it, Benita, how do we do that?
They can just go out to the Fleet Feet website, Fleet Feet Jackson. On the homepage, it's sign up there. Just click right there.
So this is the end of the 10 weeks for this group. Will y'all be starting new sessions coming up this summer or into the fall?
Fleet Feet is in the middle of 5K Fast, and they are training for the Watermelon Classic. That'll be July the 4th.
Rhino won a medal in that.
Hey. And then we'll have our 8K training, which will be happening in the fall. So
that's for the turkey trot.
That's for the turkey, yep. And then we'll also be having a training for the St. Jude, which will be a half marathon, full marathon training in the fall. So
they have moved the Mississippi Blues Marathon, haven't they, to February?
I think so.
January. It used to be always in January, and I think this past year they've moved it to February. But you guys always do a great sort of 16-week or so leading up to that.
That's right.
As well. And I'll have to say, my first 5K was on the campus of the University of Southern Miss when I was a junior and got the bug myself. And so I, very much similar to you, it's just sort of spiraled out of control, Benita.
Can't help yourself.
You can't help yourself. We want everybody, though, to help themselves coming up Wednesday, June. I was going to get it right. 5th for Global Running Day. Thank you so much, Ms. Benita.
Thank you.
All right, stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.